Hi, good morning, teacher. My name is Lady. Here is my ID card. Well, first of all, here in Practicum 4.2, I'm going to talk about pronunciations, phonetics, and phonology. First of all, pronunciation, phonetics, and phonology are interconnected fields in linguistics, each playing a distinct role in understanding speech and sounds. And while pronunciation focuses on correct articulation, phonetics studies the physical properties of sounds. On the other hand, phonology examines abstract sound patterns in languages. Together, they provide a comprehensive framework for analyzing human communication. To talk more about it, first of all, we have the first aspect that is pronunciation. Well, pronunciation involves the accurate production of sounds, stress, and intonation in speech. It is essential for effective communication, helping learners distinguish between words like sheep and sheep. Teachers and speech coaches uses tools like International Phonetic Alphabet and to improve clarity and reduce accents, pronunciations, breaks, theory, and real world usage, and making it vital for languages learners and public speakers. The second aspect is phonetics. Well, phonetics is the science of speech sounds. You know, phonetics investigates how sounds are physically produced and transmitted and perceived. It has three branches. Like we can see articulatory phonetics, how speech organs create sounds. And the second is acoustic phonetics, it's sounds wave analysis. And the last one is auditory phonetics, it's how listeners perceive sounds. Applications include speech therapy, forensic voice analysis, and improving text-to-speech technology. Finally, we have the last aspect that is phonology. Well, phonology studies how sounds function within a language, focusing on phonemes, meaningful sound units, and rules. For example, English prohibits the sound at the start of the word, while in Vietnamese allows it. Phonology explains how sound changes over time and dialect variation, aiding lexicographers and AI language models. Now here we have a table explaining more about the three aspects I talk about: pronunciation, phonetics, and phonology. Regarding definition, nature, and the focus of each one, key question, and some examples. I'm going to explain some of these examples. Well, first of all, we have pronunciation. For example, a Spanish speaker learning to pronounce the English sound in think and not sink. The other example is actors training to adopt a specific accents for roles. One actor want to play a person who is from, I don't know, maybe Korea, and he needs to play this accent and making people understand that this actor is from that country. And why it matters? Well, poor pronunciation can lead to misunderstandings, and while clear speech enhances communication in education, business, and diplomacy. Well, on the other hand, we have phonetics. Phonetics, and the first example is speech therapists use phonetics to diagnose articulation disorders. And the last one is forensic linguistics analyze voice recording to identify speakers and why it matters. Phonetics helps improve speech technology, for example, Alexa's voice recognition and aids in language preservations. Well, and the last one is phonology. The first example is explaining why Japanese speakers struggle with English L versus R, and no phonetic distinction in Japanese. Well, talking more about it, in Japanese phonology, there is no a difference or distinction between the English L and R sound. Instead, Japanese has a single sound, often transcribed as R and flapped similar to the TT in the American English pronunciation. It's better the double T. Well, and the last example is predicting sound changes over time, for example, silence and K in night due to historical shifts. And why it matters? Phonology helps design writing systems, language teaching, and computational linguistic models. And well, to finish, here are some references that I took to do this presentation. Thanks for your attention and have a good day.